Hello and welcome. Today is Tuesday, January 21st. No, today's Wednesday. Am I looking at the wrong day? I think I am. Y'all, I'm looking at the wrong day. There we go. 2026, and this is your Daily Sigh, January 21st. Entrepreneur, and you're trying to keep up with life. I would like to take a great big deep breath in and let it out and realize I'm about to get all the way caught up. I go live every business day at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's right now. The best of my ability, I give you everything that I think matters in the entrepreneurial world across all levels of analysis, be it AI, 15 minutes or less. That's my promise. If we have a married baby, turn self-made multimillionaire. And I help entrepreneurs who already have a real business but want clearer steps, better tools, and smarter ways to grow in a post-AI world. And all of my content is and always will be free. My goal in life is to help freedom. You can get the Daily Sigh delivered to your inbox by going to dailysigh.ai. Let's dive in. Story today is really interesting, especially for my a quietly nukes post-production high-powered masking and rotoscoping directly pro. This takes tasks that used to take hours and hours and hours and hours down to seconds. Agencies and in-house teams reclaim 30 to 40% of editing time immediately. Y'all, if you're not producing content, there's no excuse not to anymore. If you are producing content, make sure you're not doing it the old way. Don't get romantic about the way that you made your money. That's critically, critically important. Continue to pay attention to what's happening in your market and where things can be improved upon. I learned this recently. Everybody always makes the joke or draws the analogy of Blockbuster. Don't be Blockbuster and allow yourself to be usurped by Netflix. What most people don't know, what I didn't know until very recently, I learned this very recently, Blockbuster attempted streaming early. They were really early, and it didn't work. It didn't work. Nobody's ready for it. Nobody understood it. The infrastructure wasn't really there. Internet bandwidth wasn't high enough to justify it. It was frustrating. And so Blockbuster attempts streaming, it fails, and they moved on and thought, okay, failed experiment. Let's not do that again. And that, I think, is what killed them. Being too early is sometimes just as bad as being too late. What they needed to do in the world where innovation is what moves a business forward is to just kind of give in the spectrum of opportunity. Because when people became receptive to streaming, they had already written it off. A lot of us do this. You make an attempt at using something that might make your life a little bit easier or more productive or better or more efficient. And if it doesn't work for you, you write it off effectively forever, never to come back. And what I'd ask you to do is don't do that, especially in this epoch where we are watching so much transition, it's impossible to keep up with. I feel like we're running across a burning bridge and feet as we step. It's actually a great analogy. It's a good way to think about where we are right now. So if you've tried, AI-driven media tools or split testing tools, production tools, and you're like, oh, that didn't work for me, try it again. Visit things that maybe haven't worked for you previously, because the truth is, at some point, it's going to work. And I mean, that's effectively the guarantee. Is AI will work for insert anything here. This Adobe update is really, really interesting. It's also bad news for creatives. Creative labor is being compressed inside incumbent platforms. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're nowhere in the middle of the assembly line. And this is also a really helpful visualization. If you visualize yourself or your business as it pertains to the global economic endeavor, at the beginning of the assembly line is sales and marketing. Those are the people that build awareness and close deals. And for the most part, they're going to be some of the last to fall. I'm not saying they go value proposition. Sales especially. If you're good at sales, I think that's going to be one of the last things that AI is really able to replace, especially high-end sales, relationship building, business development, etc. So that's the beginning. The end of this is whoever's delivering the final end result. Here are the keys to your car. Here's the keys to your house. It's actually, that's a good analogy. It's whoever hands the keys over. The beginning of the assembly line and I'm not going to say safe as a rule, but to me, they feel the safest. Anybody in the middle of the assembly line, it's like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I retrofit the windows. So people are the ones that are most susceptible to being commoditized and taken over by AI. So in this particular instance, if you're a freelancer, a consultant, or an agency, or an employee who your job, your value proposition is in post-production, AI just ate your work. It's taking hours and hours and hours of work and bringing it down. And so what you want to do is you want to start eating more of the assembly line yourself, the customer, and brings them into the fold, or the person that delivers everything end to end. This narrative that we have, and I hear it more often than I should in 2026. Anybody who's ever said the words, that's not mine, should be tarred and feathered and then paraded around the city square naked. And we should allow everyone who lives near them to pelt them with rotten fruit and vegetables. It's just such a stupid, ignorant stance to take. It's so you're asking for forced obsolescence. If right now, when the $1 trillion AI mechanisms are coming online and they're about to roll out robotics, if somebody's asking you to do something, that means that there's a commercial exchange taking place, and you should be freaking grateful. So this whole "that's not my job" thing, that'll get you bastard and scattered. If you're an employee or freelancer or contractor, never do that again. Put yourself in a position where everything's your job. Grab as much as you can with both hands. If you're an employer and you ever hear that, you have the wrong person, wrong seat on the wrong bus. Get rid of them. They're gonna, I think, run the whole damn basket. The thing about the way that AI works, there's no such thing as your job. There's getting there down, and we're going to use AI as that's why I'm really, really, really bullish on this idea that motivated generalists are better than pacified specialists. Motivated generalist thing that happened in your business. If you want a motivated generalist, by the way, come hire one from me. I train high-end EAs. You can go to paretotalent.com. Forgive the sales pitch, but I'm a good marketer. Core story number 2, y'all. Google's anti-gravity. If you haven't played with this damn thing, this is also rolled out a tool yesterday, or at least I heard about it. I heard about it today, and I heard about it in context of yesterday from Google. Anti-gravity turns up parallel operators. Is launching themselves coding fray. This tool, anti-gravity, I played with a lot this morning. It's an agent-first tool that allows linear coding with what they're calling parallel agent execution. What that meant, so I had to dig into it. Basically, it means that as you're building it, you can tell Google, hey, I'm going to build this, and you go build that, and then come back to me, and we can pull them together. And developers can have multiple agents running simultaneously. Which is, if you really are a developer, you know how big this is. This makes development accessible to you. And it eliminates context switching. So instead of having to switch back and forth from one to the other and choose what it is that you happen to be working on, you get to run both of them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. I don't really know what I'm talking about either, because I'm not a software engineer. And I've been doing quite a bit in the way of vibe coding. Me and some buddies own what I think is the largest vibe code in the world right now. If you want to join, it's absolutely free. Go to vcinc.ai. So I know quite a bit about it, or at least I've been exposed to it. And I think that this is a significant gain. I also love seeing this much competition in a space like this. There's a lot of tools out there: Lovable, Bolt, Replit, Base 44. For Google to enter the fray, and I realize that not all of this, like what Google's offered inside of anti-gravity, isn't necessarily vibe coding per se. It's actually deeper. And it all kind of fits inside of the same thesis of we're making it easier to build software. I think that this amount of competition is really, really healthy for this market, because it forces into a position of keeping costs. If you're playing the vibe coding game, it's actually a big, big problem. Core story number 3, Zoom turns meetings into automation triggers. I think this is huge, especially if you're playing the automation game. For any of you that are playing with Zapier, N8N, Zoom has expanded their AI companion to include custom agents that connect directly to other tools like Jira or project management tools. So this gives you the ability to take meetings and use the expiration or execution of the meeting as a trigger. And what's cool about that is your meetings are now catalysts for anything and everything that you want them to be catalysts for, Zoom heavy or really meeting heavy. This puts you in a position of using your meetings to push. So for example, I have a friend who runs all of his membership community. Well, this is Perry Belcher, the entirety of the Ignite Mastermind. Every time an Ignite Mastermind call ends, and they do one every day on a different topic, that call ending is now that, and everything that the AI companion produces becomes a catalyst for any automation that he wants to trigger. So that could, I mean, he could create a course, write a book, launch content. This puts you in a position of being able to ship a lot faster without the ops or project manager. So meetings are basically being embedded inside of your workflow structure, which I think is really, really, really cool. Good question from Francisco here. As far as affiliate marketing, is there a future in affiliate marketing? And I'd like you, dude. The way affiliate marketing has been peddled the last 15 years has been something like network marketing or MLM marketing, where you're sort of grinding behind the scenes and trying to get people to sign up through ancillary or alternative channels. I do think that there's a significant place for affiliate marketing, but I don't want to call it affiliate marketing. I want to call it authority-based marketing. You build yourself as an authority in a space, then you can drive people to solutions for driving that traffic. But it's different because affiliate marketing, again, it's never felt to me like those that are doing affiliate marketing are establishing themselves as an authority. And that's the way it's going to look in the future. So I think everybody on the planet should be building their authority. And if you don't know how to do that, by the way, the answer is YouTube. YouTube is the most valuable content network that exists by many, many multiples. And I've said that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again for about 6 years. YouTube is still massively, massively, massively underpriced. It's the only content network that is fundamentally middle of the funnel, meaning you have a consumer who's both problem and solution aware. Nothing else produces a prospect like that. This is an educated consumer base, generally looking for educational material. You don't get that anywhere. YouTube is an extraordinary powerhouse of a content ecosystem, and it's still extraordinarily under inventoried. So if you don't know what to do right now, go start a YouTube channel. And you don't even need to be the world's greatest authority in a topic. You need to be 2 steps ahead of whoever it is that you're teaching, which, to be honest, right now is really easy because AI is changing everything. So don't be an affiliate, be an authority. And then, yeah, I've got I don't want to give away his identity because I don't know if he wants people to know this, but he's in my mastermind. And he's approaching 6 figures a month net to him just in commissions from affiliate deals. But he's not an affiliate. He's an authority. People really trust him in the base. Everybody knows, likes, and trusts him. And he only promotes products that he really believes in, which is, the other piece of authority. Core story. Oh, great question, Francisco, by the way. Thank you so much. I don't mind sticking around for questions. I realize that I promised 15 minutes for the update. That's still going to be my commitment. I'll give you the update in 15 minutes. But then if we want to play Q&A or just have a conversation after the fact, I'd love to do that. And I love everybody who's showing up. Thank you so much. Core story number 4 is AI lowers the cost of building compliant AI products. AI has released an open weight safety models that allows developers directly. If you're playing with create AI is bridging the gap for you in a significant way. If you're not, I don't think the story really applies. Kind of backups. Elon Musk has called energy the new current, paying attention to, because I'm pretty sure the dollar is going to collapse at some point. You have to play with Google VO3. If you haven't, I really believe you're missing out from a media creation perspective. And the rest of these, NVIDIA says it needs trillions more in investment. We've known that. But if you want to sell shovels in the gold rush, I think that AI implementation is the way to go. So for those of us that can't afford to invest or build or buy power plants, the next best thing is AI implementation for small business. And that's 14 minutes. So I think I did my job, more or less. If I've not said something that you think, feel free to message me wherever it is you happen to be watching. I go live every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern. So would love the opportunity to connect with you on a daily basis. Every single weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I want to give entrepreneurs just a sigh of relief. I want you to feel like, oh, I don't have to run around reading everything and watching everything and listening to everything because Custom's done it for me. And I really have, by the way. I aggregate as much of this stuff as I can across networks exists. So if you want this delivered directly to your inbox, and for those of you who tuned in, I see Hector Lopez, JKC, Francisco, Molly Pittman. Oh my God, I have a literal celebrity watching me right now. Now I'm embarrassed. Now I got to go. C. Nassif, thanks for being here. I lava you. That's a great handle. Mikey MM, Capybara. That's funny. Hank Schrader with Bro Oslam. All right, brother. Hank Schrader. That's Breaking Bad, isn't it? What a great show that was. I'm from Albuquerque too. So since I'm sticking around, the 15 minutes is over, by the way. I've given you the news update, but what I would like to do now that we're just chopping it up and chatting, if y'all have questions, feel free to lob them in, or if you have updates you think I just let me know. Scene of opportunity I've ever seen in my entire entrepreneurial life. What's available and accessible to those of us that are entrepreneurs, I don't think we'll ever see this again. I was 7 years old in 1992, and I remember my dad bought me a computer, and I remember like hopping on the internet, and even as a 7-year-old kid, just kind of knowing like, oh, this is big. There's this whole world lives on top of our world. And even then, my dad had a lot of foresight in that way. He was buying up domain names. He didn't buy any good ones. There were people that saw, okay, and I think AI is going to be 100 million times this, but it's a much shorter fuse. So please do not sit on the sidelines. You know what I mean? Like, now's the time. If ever you want to make a big bet, you can your downside risk from an entrepreneur. So I'm not telling you to max out your credit cards. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to go all in. But I am saying get in the game. You can't win a game that you don't play. And the entrepreneurial game is a game that just about anybody can play. And if you don't know what to do, build authority in an AI enablement space. And that's a lot easier than what I just said. What I said sounded like gobbledygook buzzwords. So I'll simplify it. At least tangentially related to. So for example, my father used to sell hand knotted rugs, smallest industry in the world, right? There's probably thousands in the United States. But if I ran around offering AI enablement to hand knotted rug stores, I'd be the only one. And now I have 1,000 customers. Let's say I only got 10% of that customer base, which would mean I'm an epic failure in that niche, incidentally. But let's say I did. There's 100 customers. So let's say I got them all paying me something modest, $1,000 a month. You sell one rug, they're worth 15 grand a pop. So $1,000 a month feels comfortable, especially if I'm executing on what I can say I can do. There's $100,000 a month. And it's just me by my lonesome, maybe with an EA and some tech. There are so many industries like that. Establishing yourself as an authority, as I'm saying, you have to be 2 steps ahead of the people that your team. Don't lie. All these dipshits running around LinkedIn talking about AI expert or AI authority in their title. I'm like, how? It's okay to let people know, like, hey, I'm an AI explorer. I'm an AI pioneer. I like those a lot better. But, to pretend like you've had your 10,000 hours in an industry that hasn't been, I feel like that's the wrong way to promote yourself. But if you establish yourself as an authority and you do so in an industry that you actually you have some access to, which can be really helpful, and that can be anything. It could be nail salons and dry clean, info tech, like what you name it. But that authority, I think, is going to carry you a long way. And I think an AI enablement is, and I'm not. Barry Belcher said it first. He was the first one I ever heard say it. He said it next. I heard Alex Ramone. I think he was on the. It wasn't the My First Millions. It was Diary of the CEO, and the guy asked him something like AI enablement right now today. This is the opportunity to us. The other thing that's really interesting is it's such a leverageable skill. You can charge just about anything like points, commission, or equity. If you really do go crack the code on how to utilize AI in a niche industry, I think you a little slice of equity out of every business that you work with. I wish I did that at Solutions 8. If, for those of you that don't know, I built the #1 ranked Google Ads agency in the world. We were extraordinary. We were the best that is. I'll die on that hill, at least that's that I've seen. I haven't seen anybody come out that's been better from a media buyer perspective. And I've sold that business since, so maybe I don't have my finger on the pulse anymore. But the thing that I had so many offers for participation. I only ever took a fee. We charged like $1,500 plus 10% of your ad spend, and we minted money. We did great. But I had people coming after me asking to give me equity. They just wanted to give me equity because they knew that it would make me more interested in their business. And at the time, it felt too messy. I wanted a more scalable, which is a word that I hate, but I wanted a more scalable business. And man, if I had, most of them would have probably been something close to worthless. But there were 2 or 3 or 4 that would have made me more money than my exit made me, which was an 8-figure exit. So I think right now today, again, is the opportunity to get creative, establish authority, play the participation game. But you got to play the game. You can't win if you don't play. And more accessible for everybody in the world. Just start solving problems and then sharing with people what you did. The DIY is free. Here's how you do it yourself. And if you want me to do it with you, you got to come pay me. That's the best business model that I can possibly think of in today's day and age. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget I go live every day, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you want these delivered direct to your inbox, go to